Hi, hello, shalom. My name is Haley Beckel and I have the fashion sense of a 12-year-old boy. If you cannot tell already, I am wearing my middle school PE t-shirt. It's comfortable, what can I say? Anyways, today we're gonna be talking about the worst ruler ever in history that you probably have never heard of, Elagabalus, the ancient Roman emperor. So let's get started. So in honor of today's video, we are going to be making two ancient Roman dishes. The first being the Roman version of a hamburger and honey cakes. I don't know if they're gonna taste any good. These are ancient Roman recipes, so the instructions are very vague, I guess. We'll see.
3, 2, 1.
So our story begins with Varius Avitus Vicinius, or better known as Elagabalus. And he was born in 204 CE, but we don't really know what month or day it was. We just know it was in 204. And he was born in Syria, actually, not ancient Rome, no, he was born in Syria. And his dad was a senator to the emperor in our story, Caracalla. His mother was also the niece of Caracalla's mother. See that connection there? So Emperor Caracalla was assassinated by this guy named Macrinus, and he told the emperor's mother to leave. And she was like, I'm not doing that, and she decided to starve herself to death, so she dies. And her sister and her two nieces, which one of her nieces, they're all named Julia, by the way, is Elagabalus's mom. And they decide to take revenge on Macrinus. And what do? This is where Elagabalus comes into play. So he's 14 years old, and they decide to smuggle him into the 3rd Legion's camp. And they say that, you know, Caracalla's dead, okay? So they're like, okay, we're gonna say that Elagabalus is this illegitimate son of Caracalla. He's not, though. And they bring him in and they show him off, and the 3rd Legion is like, oh my god, you know what? He kind of looks like Caracalla. He probably is his illegitimate son. So he does kind of resemble Caracalla, and this is the main reason that they believe this lie. So they're considering Elagabalus for the position as the new emperor, which Macrinus has taken over. And Macrinus, who assassinated Caracalla, to remind you, the former emperor, is not doing so well. People are not liking him. He's not really sticking with the promises that he said he was going to make, and he's not doing so good military-wise. So when Elagabalus comes around, this 14-year-old, he defeats his army. He defeats Macrinus' army. So Macrinus, he has lost his position as emperor. He's been overthrown. So he tries to escape to Rome with his 9-year-old son, but they are both executed before they can do so. So with Macrinus out of the picture, the Roman Senate is like, okay, let's take this 14-year-old kid, okay, and let's make him the new emperor. So they do. And oh boy, he's crazy. So he does a series of incredibly taboo things. So Elagabalus worships the Syrian sun god Elagabal, and he decides to make all of ancient Rome worship his god. Very taboo. So he builds a temple to Elagabal, has himself circumcised, and makes all of the senators watch as he dances around the altar. But he also gets married and divorced a total of 5 times to 5 different women. And this includes a Vestal Virgin, which was a huge taboo, a no-no. But our story doesn't stop here. Elagabalus also was a cross-dresser. Some historians say that he was transgender or transsexual. I don't know if any of that is true. I cannot confirm nor deny. So in addition to the 5 women that he marries and divorces, he also marries a male slave. Now we don't know if this is an athlete or a chariot driver. It's one of the two. So Elagabalus also liked to prostitute himself, as you know, he would cross-dress and he would run around the palace and he would prostitute himself just for the fun of it, get to the men in the palace. So Elagabalus liked his men. He liked his men so much that he opened up the palace baths to the public so he could search for men with the largest male organs. So it is also said that Elagabalus sacrificed children to his god. I don't know the validity of that, but apparently he would search for children of noble birth and the most beautiful ones around and sacrifice them to his god. Not to mention he was quite the prankster. When he would throw dinner parties, he would sick animals on people. So while people were having, you know, his guests were having dessert, they were enjoying themselves, then he would come out and he would release lions and leopards on his guests, not telling them that these animals happened to be tamed, so nobody really was in harm. But it was quite amusing to him anyway. He also reportedly released a whole bunch of snakes on a crowd of people just for shits and giggles. But the dude had layers because he also really loved flowers for some reason. He loved flowers so much that he would have them everywhere and all the time. And one time he took this a little bit too far and he released a whole bunch of flowers from the ceiling and he crushed his party guests with this heap of flowers. And a couple of them actually ended up suffocating underneath all of the flowers. So he also kind of invented the whoopee cushion. He would make his guests sit on these air-filled pillows that would release air throughout the night, and then there would be no support to them left when all the air was out, and the guests would go sliding under the table. So unfortunately, Elagabalus's tomfoolery had to come to an end eventually. And people expressed their disdain for him by trying to overthrow him multiple times, but without success. And his family was also very aware of this, which is why they told him to appoint an heir. So the heir to the throne was his 13-year-old cousin, Bisanus Alexinus. And even though Elagabalus made this guy his heir, he hated him. They were rivals in his eyes. So Elagabalus hated his cousin so much that he tried to have him executed multiple times, but it never worked. So he decided to order for his cousin's execution, and he took him to the Praetorial Guard. But here's the thing. They refused to have his cousin executed, and even vouched for him to be the new emperor. So Elagabalus's cousin is now the new emperor, according to the Praetorian Guard. And where does that leave Elagabalus? Well, he chooses to flee. So he takes his mom and they try to flee. But no, they don't get away. The Praetorian Guard takes them and they're ordered to be executed, where they are beheaded, stripped, and dragged through the city. And Elagabalus's body is thrown into the Tiber River. Okay, so it's time to test our 2 different things, the honey cake and the Roman hamburger. I'm a little nervous. Like, there's a lot of wine in this burger, so it's probably gonna taste like straight, just straight white wine. So here we go. I take back everything I said. This is really good. Like, this is bomb. Like, this takes a regular hamburger and it doesn't even matter that this is like well done, and it just like puts it up a few levels. I really like it. Wow. Wow, Romans, you got it right. So moving on to the honey cake, which is, it's supposed to be like served with butter. You eat it with your hands. I put a little bit of, you know, dairy-free butter on there, and I don't know, we'll see. It doesn't look that good. This is really bad. This tastes like straight Play-Doh. Okay, there is no honey in this cake. This tastes like straight Play-Doh, but it's fine. The burger's good. Like, I would chew this again because like, it's really good, but I wouldn't, the honey cake, But that is it for now. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. If you did not enjoy this, please let me know. If you want me to do more stories and cooking and experimenting, please let me know. I have a huge mess to go clean up now. Bye-bye.